Hi, Mr. Caffarella. So I'm here with my mom. I'm behind the camera, and we're just going to record the oral history interview.
Hello, Mr. Caffarella.
So the first question is, tell me about your family background.
My dad and my mom, they are Russians. They were born in Krasnodarsky Krai. It's south of Russia, very beautiful region. I was born there. You were born there. Your little sister was born there. So it's our hometown. What else? Well, there is a possibility that we have some Jewish blood, but I mean it's not confirmed. It's according my grandmother story, but I mean her name and her relatives. But as far as I know, I consider myself very Russian.
So the second question is, what did your parents do for a living?
When I was little, my dad, he was a professor at the university. He was teaching agriculture to foreign students. My mom, she was a doctor for little kids. She loved it, but unfortunately, due those hard times and economic change during Soviet Union and actually past Soviet Union times, my dad, he wanted to provide more to his family. Therefore, he decided to change his job, and he had a great offer. Well, he changed completely because from professor, he started to work on the big boat. It was a commercial and like touristic boat that was sailing from Black Sea, Novorossiysk, Russia to Istanbul, Turkey. They were going there empty with the tourists, and they were coming back like full of different stuff, like for the commercial purposes. At that time, there were like nothing in Russia, so they were bringing like clothes for sale. They were bringing food. Like I remember lots of tomatoes on the decks. So that was the time when my mom was at home. My dad was working on the boat. We started getting money, and after those times, my dad got enough, so we decided to open a family business as like a family small restaurant. It was our first experience with, like, actually at that time, no one had that experience. Therefore, my dad, he managed somehow to go to United States for some program that introduced him restaurant business. So he loved it, and that's why we decided to open small pizzeria. It was Pizza Nova. We basically, my mom and my dad and my sister, little sister, uh, we like designed everything. We designed menu, we designed, so everything we did together. It was actually a very good family bonding at that time, and like we're starting a family business. It was great times. After that, because there were so many other restaurants were opening very fast, the industry was growing. um, well, we decided kind of, not to quit, but due my father's illness, because he is suffering from cancer, we needed to stop. And they moved to Canada. They retired. My mom and dad are retired now. And right now, basically, it's everything is on our shoulders. And I mean, we're lucky enough that during those times we have a very small family business. Right now, we're here. It's our like we bought this property a while ago. It was empty, lots of land, but we decided to build a small hotel. It's not big. It's just for the family and friends, but at least right now during pandemics, we're here. We can spend time with the family. So that's what.
The third question is, what was your childhood like during the last few years of the USSR?
Well, I was very little, so I really don't remember my life, but I remember that everything was by the schedule. There were lots of people at the stores, empty shelves. Um, you know, People were hungry at that time, and even those who had money, they were not able to buy anything because, um, you know, some items they were like hidden for special people, or you can get it only by providing some kind of document. I remember when my mom was asking me to go to buy milk for my little sister. It has to be at certain time. You have to bring two bottles, empty bottles of milk. Then you need to stand in line, like huge lines. I remember you can spend like hours there. Then you provide a bottle of this empty milk, and then you provide a ticket. And by that ticket, you're allowed to have one more bottle. So everything was by rules. Um, um, I mean, I guess some people say that the life was easier and better. I don't know. I cannot say that, but I remember that I prefer nowadays or post-Soviet Union times because that what I remember. Um, it was my childhood, and it was great times for me.
The next question is, what was your school life like?
Well, I can compare with yours, and it's completely different. It was very strict. Um, we had so much homework that we
We
were,
have homework.
well, we had a lot, and every student was competing with each other because they were trying to be better than someone else in the class. Um, we were so creative. We knew how to cheat, so we had so many different ways how to do that. Like right now there is a program that solves everything. Like you can scan.
Don't tell my secrets to my teachers.
Well, you can scan. That's as far as I know. You can scan the problem, and it will and you will get a solution. I mean, we needed to solve everything. We needed to copy everything. We had so many different ways how to do that. So we were very creative. Another thing I remember about my school life that everyone hated, and everyone was not looking forward for a parents meeting, because nowadays parents meetings are, you can discuss a problem or a progress, face to face. And before it was different. They were invited to one classroom, everyone was sitting, and you were listening about, I don't know, like your classmate problem, and everyone knew what's happening in his progress or not progress. So, that was different. What else? Well, I would say examination process was different. We never had this kind of projects. I think nowadays school is very creative. It develops, different skills. Again, in our school, I mean, it was linguistic gymnasium. We learned two languages, but again, everything was by rules, like topics, examination, nothing new. Like nowadays, everything is very different and creative.
The fifth question is, what was the community you grew up in like?
Well, during my childhood, everything seemed to me very friendly. Um, as I told you before, we didn't have phones. Well, not even cell phones or computers. We didn't have phones. And my family was lucky enough to have a phone at home. So it was kind of privilege to have that, and all our neighbors, they were coming all the time during the day asking to give a call to some relative, and you were listening to their personal stuff. But it was at those back times. Nowadays, I mean, like, we live in Toronto. Like, people, they don't even know who their neighbors are. And I mean, we barely speak with our friends because of this fast life nowadays. So I would say back those days, everything was very friendly. Everyone was trying to bond with each other, sharing. I don't know how honest it was, but that's how I felt.
Okay, so the next question is, how did kids occupy themselves? For example, what sports did they play or what different hobbies did they practice?
Well, during USSR, I would say, I mean, I don't even remember. I was very little, but it was, you couldn't do too much because uh, there were lack of toys. You cannot buy a lot of toys. I mean, like, even like if you have a doll, your friends will ask to share it with you, or like, we didn't have too many choices. So most of the choices were made by your parents. They signed you up for different classes or sport classes. When I was 7 years old, I started to do ballroom dancing. Well, actually, from the beginning, because my parents, they moved to for a year for the work. I actually didn't mention this before. They moved to Cambodia because my dad, uh, at that time, he was a professor at the university, and they exchanged the experience, so they moved to Cambodia. And I stayed with my grandmother, which was also normal. I mean, nowadays I cannot imagine to leave you with your grandma. You probably would be
Yeah.
devastated. But we were very independent. At that time, we can go to school, or we can go to a friend without cell phone, without any control. We knew how to cross the road. We were very, very responsible at early age. Anyways, back to my story about the hobbies. So not too many. And my grandmother, she made a little bit, like, a small mistake. Instead of ballroom dancing, she signed me up for folk dancing. And for a year, while my mom and my dad was away in Cambodia, I was doing a folk dancing. When my mom came back, she said that, waste of time. We need to do ballroom dancing, and I started doing this. But um, after, in 90s, I was very um, I've been rollerblading, and not like for fun. I've been doing this like professionally. I was kind of that girl that was enjoying aggressive rollerblading, skating, like half pipes and all that stuff. So that was fun times. After post USSR times, um, my parents were able to provide me, like, with different stuff. So they were able to buy me rollerblades, and I think those are most of the families. They have more opportunities. We start getting toys at the stores, different sport classes, different, you know everything was different.
So the next question is, how was religion observed in your household?
Our family is Christian Orthodox religion. Um, we all were baptized. Um, Looking forward for a little sister that will be hopefully very soon. Um, we went to church every Sunday. I was taking you since you were a little girl. in Russia, religion means a lot. Um, that's why, like in every family, they trying to teach and explain a lot to their kids. So during Soviet Union, it was not so popular. Actually, they were against religion, but after that, I mean, it's important. So, I mean, we are Christian Orthodox. Went to school every Sunday. Um,
Personally, my favorite question, how would you say your childhood was different than mine?
as I mentioned before, it's very different. Has many, I mean, yours has many advantages and disadvantages, the same as mine. I think you're more privileged because you have more access for information. At that time, as I mentioned, there were no cell phones, no phones, no computers. We had a computer at our classroom that we were able to look at, not even, not even touch. So at this point, I mean, you have all access for everything, for all information that you can search. Um, at the same time, not having those devices, we were always outside, fresh air. We were, riding bikes. We were playing different games. We were very, very creative, and we like some days we were spending, I don't know, like we can go outside at 7 o'clock in the morning and come back at 10. That's how it was interesting for us. We had many friends, for example, like I remember in my childhood, I during weekends, for example, we went outside, and then another child has to go home for dinner or for lunch, and then you were waiting for another one. So we were not willing to come back home because how interesting it was outside. So I mean, we were playing different games. We were interested in different movies. I mean, everything changed. Like we, for example, I don't know, Mr. Caffarella probably remember that we had a Tamagotchi that we were feeding, or we were trading like those stickers and tattoos from bubble gums. Love Is or Turbo was very, very popular bubble gum. So I'm right now, even right now, I see Sofia's eyes and she's rolling because she doesn't understand that. But at those time, if you have jeans, you were cool. You were very cool. White tube jeans, or you like we were like girls. They were very, very. It was very popular. Not game. It was like a fenichka. It was a bracelet that you needed to braid from different.
Oh, I did that when I was little.
Yeah, but trust me, the way we did it was
Okay.
a different level. So, and like first movies, I remember when I got my first Barbie. It was such an exciting thing because
So you mentioned how my generation is more privileged because we have easier access to technology and that we tend to use it more often now. But I would disagree, and I would say that your generation actually uses more technology because you were deprived of it in your childhood.
well, I mean, at the moment, I mean, I use it because I like it. And also, it's not because I didn't have it before, it's just what I have access right now. Like, for example, your little sister, she knows how to use iPad. Like, there is no way I would even imagine. Like, we didn't have cell phones, and they were funny looking, and then we learned how to use them, then we learned how to use computer, and right now you just provide iPad to a little, like she's a newborn, right? She's a baby, and she knows how to scroll it, she knows how to find stuff. So I mean, we're just growing. I mean, I cannot if I'm not going to be using computer, or like I'm not going to be using cell phone, like taking photos, I'm not going to be up to date.
So you're
So
not going to be cool. That's what you're
it's
concerned
not cool.
about.
It's convenience, right? Like there are new devices, new information, new supplies, and it's convenient to use it.
Were there any interesting stories about any early ancestors that your parents told you about?
Are you interested in historical or romantic?
Both.
Well, I have few, but I can share one. For example, it's about your grandfather, a grandfather, on your grandmother's side. He's very famous hero in Russia. He was very brave. He got many medals, and the main one was a Red Star for all the heroes that did very important things during Second World War. Um, he it was during the war, during one battle. He had a piece of grenade that was stuck in his head. He had a big injury. He was taken to the hospital, and he was about to die. And there was a beautiful lady there that was taking care. She was a young nurse, well, maybe a doctor, but not sure. So she was taking care of him. So he got back to life. They fell in love, and I mean, it was my grandmother. Uh, I mean, I don't know if it's good to say, because at that time he had a family, and you know people are very judgmental if it's break a family. But I mean, it happened. They fell in love. After that, they got married, and now I mean, they had two kids. Great family. They lived together till 92 years old. My grandmother was in love with him all her life, and they were very happy.
Growing up, what was the economy like?
Again, I mentioned before that I was very little. If you're talking about USSR, I can explain you what I read in books, or I saw on TV, but I can share my memories that I had at those times. That it was lack of everything. Everything was a Gosplan. It was by Gosplan. So, for example, we had a lack of toilet paper, or for example, people were ready to spend all money for some items, because there were not too many things on the market. As I mentioned before, the story with the milk, same was with like sausages, or like, for example, when we were getting ready for some kind of holidays, it was impossible to get something special, so you needed to go on the black market. For example, if you wanted to buy a car, you needed to be on the wait list for 8 years, and it was official. And if you don't want to wait, so you need to go on the black market. So I mean, economy was planned. It was planned for all the people that lived in USSR. Everything was ruled.
Okay, so with growing up in Krasnodar, what was your first impression of seeing a country like France when leaving to study abroad for the first time?
I was only 12. Before that, I had an opportunity with my dad. We traveled to Istanbul, Turkey. I was there many, many times, but France was different. First of all, I was there alone. My parents, they trusted me enough, so they sent me there alone. I was living in a family. It was, in some village, French village. It was in Provence. So they had 3 adopted sons, and I was their only, little girl. They were never around. I was, spending lots of time with my stepfather, going hunting, making cheese, learning about French culture. I went to school. I was actually amazed the way they are French people are very friendly. They kiss all the time they meet. They kiss every time they say goodbye. So it was very impressive, because in Russia it's not like this. We have, we are distant from each other. I mean, not like kissing people that you don't even know. So that was very impressive for me. I had a chance to see Paris, to see Tours. Tours it's a small city. We live close by. Well, I mean, after France, I was amazed by culture. I was amazed by people, and I decided that I want to travel and I want to explore the world. And that's why when I was 15, I decided to have my chances, to go through some examination, and if I got lucky enough, so I went as an exchange student to United States.
At 15, you mentioned you went to study in Pennsylvania. What were your first thoughts of America?
American dream. I dreamed to go there. I was happy to be there. I spent a year. I was a freshman. So I had very unusual experience from high school that I had here in Russia. I used to live in a host family. I had a host father and host mother and a brother. I was a 12th exchange student in their family. So actually, they didn't spend a lot of time with me. So I was on my own. But I was very, very responsible. Once again, I was happy. Actually, I was offered to go to a private girls' school, but I denied that offer because I always wanted to experience a real high school, from those movies that we saw. So I said no, I want to go to high school. It was a simple public school. I lived in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's very close to Buffalo. And we went there to see Niagara Falls. It was just, very adventurous and very interesting for me. United States was like a stereotype: fast food, highways, McDonald's. It was everything that I wanted at that time, because we didn't have this in Russia, and every child and actually every adult wanted to experience that life. So I mean, I had a chance to go to the prom. I had a chance, to get a flower, bracelet. I don't know how you call this.
Corsage.
There you go. I went for hockey games. I made so many friends. Actually, I still keep in touch with them. And after that, I decided that I would like to go to law school. But I was planning, to, I don't know, I wanted to go to United States and stay there. But because I came back and my parents asked me to stay another year just to spend with them, because I was away from them for a long time. So I applied in university in Russia. But back to my experience, I would say it was amazing. I still remember driving convertible with the Backstreet Boys music very loud, or going to the beach. It was the best high school years.
The next question is, what was it about North America that easily attracted you?
At those times when I was there,
I mean, just in general.
well, when I was there, I mean, everything was attracting for me at that time because I loved houses with no gates. For me, I dreamed to live in one of those because I hated the fact that in Russia you need to hide your house, you need to hide your yard. Actually, there are no yards. And it was just like American dream, you know, like those um, lawns, green grass, no gates, beautiful houses. It's just idea that we see in the movies attracted me. I wanted my family to live that way. I um, I thought that freedom um, was there. Definitely, we had a choice of choosing different opportunities. Being, for example, not from a wealthy family and not having connection, you can achieve something. So it's just lots of opportunities, a variety of different cultures, multicultural. We can, make friends with I don't know, Spanish people. They were like everyone, Spanish, Portuguese. I mean, America is a land of immigrants, right? So um, I wanted to live there, and I want my kids to get education there. Um, Therefore, I decided to move from Russia, and I thought that it would be a great, opportunity for my kids to be there.
So the next question is, after immigrating to Canada, was life like you expected it would be when first moving?
No, it wasn't, because we landed there as immigrants in Vancouver, British Columbia. You were just 1 years old, little girl. We thought we moved there with your dad. We thought that it will be a perfect city, perfect province to stay. But when I got divorced and when I moved there with you, I realized that I don't want to spend our lives in Vancouver. Well, first of all, because it's a beautiful, beautiful city. It's a great combination of mountains and ocean, but unfortunately, it's always raining. And I was, after sunny south of Russia, I was dreaming about the sun. So I researched a lot about Toronto. Toronto is very close to New York. New York is amazing. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. So I decided that it would be probably the best option for us to move to Toronto. Toronto is multicultural city. It's huge. More than 6 million people live there. I love everything about it. I mean, it's very green. It's uh, it's beautiful for the families. It's amazing for the job. So it's a great combination. Um, if you want to do sport, everything developed for that. Amazing thing that there are so many multicultural communities there. So, for example, you want to go Italian, you go for Italian food. You want to go Chinese, everything is available for you. So, Toronto has variety of everything, different options. Plus sunny, plus Great Lake Ontario. It's beautiful. Um, Lots of events. NBA team. I'm just describing all my excitement that I had when I moved there. So it was when we moved to Toronto. It was exactly what we were looking for. I mean, I was looking for.
What were some challenges you faced when first moving to Canada?
I would say not some. Everything was challenging. Everything. I moved there with you when you were 3 years old. I was in the middle of divorce. although my parents supported me, we had a great trip before we moved there to Miami, Florida. We spent there like a family vacation. Then we flew to Buffalo, New York, and then we went through the we basically we left there. We said goodbye to each other on the border, and we moved to Toronto. Challenging was the fact that we didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have a credit history, which I am not able to get any rent. I didn't have any friends there. We were lucky, and we had a financial support from our family, that we stayed at the hotel. It was actually amazing. I mean, it wasn't like a 5-star hotel, but it was a hotel. We stayed there for 3 months. I remember when I found you a Russian school, and the Russian school bus was picking you up from the hotel. I mean, it was nice. And during the time you were at school, I was looking for the job. I was trying to set up everything, starting from banks, starting from apartment. I mean, everything was challenging because it was completely new. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have anything there, so challenging was to buy a new car. Challenging was to rent a place, to get to know the city, everything. So it was interesting. It was interesting times, but I believe this is for all immigrants, right? But right now I know that Canada has lots of programs for immigrants, and usually, they move and the community helps. I didn't have that opportunity. I didn't have that chance, so I did everything on my own. I found a job. I was taking you to the kindergarten at that time. I made some friends. So it was challenging, but very interesting, because I did everything from zero, and in the city that I didn't know anyone. So if I tell the story to someone else, people don't believe that you can do this, like having a little kid. But I think we were like a great team.
Aww.
You helped me because I did everything for you. I wanted to provide you a good education, good life. I wanted you to have this house without the gate. So I wasn't afraid of this challenging. It was just interesting and very motivating for me. So
Okay, so the next question is, do you ever regret leaving Russia and moving to Canada? If yes, why?
definitely no. I never regret, especially for this decision. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. I wanted to provide the best for my kids, the best for me. I wanted to live that life on that continent. Plus, I never said goodbye to Russia. My parents stayed there at that time when I moved. My little sister, we still have this small business. We have apartment in Krasnodar. I always have my friends, by my side, even far away, but still with me. Even we were in Toronto. I always had a Russian TV, so I was watching news. So even like, for example, I try to understand. I love Toronto, I love Canada, and I try to understand who am I, like Canadian or Russian. And I think I'm truly Russian Canadian, because when, for example, we went to watch a hockey game, I think it was a World Cup, Russians junior championship, and Russians were playing against Canadian. And to be honest, I didn't know who I need to cheer for, because I belong to Canadians and I belong to Russians. So, I mean, I'm very proud. I'm very happy that I made this choice. Plus, I think it's not only me, it's not only my kids, because we were lucky enough that my sister moved when she was 16. She was staying with us. And she was at school with Sofia there, with a little bit difference in age. She went to university there. She's working right now there. My parents, they also are permanent residents of Canada. Again, as I mentioned before, my dad is he's battling the cancer. So with a great Canadian healthcare, he's able to do that, and I'm very, very happy that he's there at the moment right now. And I don't want to say bad things about Russian health care, but again, I'm happy for him, to be there.
I mean, I guess also like citizenship and how we can travel all over the world with our passports.
Well, it's a great opportunity and a great advantage of the passport, of course, and especially nowadays when like with this passport, there is advantage to go to every country, and you don't need to get visas. I mean, except some. So also, Sofia, don't forget that we have two passports. So I mean, it's good.
Okay, so the last question is, how would you say that the world has changed since you were young? In your opinion, is the world better today?
I actually didn't expect, Sofia, that you will be asking me so important questions and not even letting me to know those questions in advance.
I gave you 30 minutes.
It changed a lot. Is it better now? It's just the way it is right now. I am that kind of person that appreciate life, every moment of it. So I was happy to have my childhood during Soviet Union. I was happy to live and experience life after like post-Soviet Union period. And right now, Russia changed a lot. I experience immigration. I changed countries. Right now we're living during pandemics times. It's very unusual, and actually no one expected that actually it's possible. Everyone was preparing for possible nuclear war or something like this, but probably it's our reality that we're gonna be living, and virus problems will be always here. It's like a viral war, I guess. I mean, it's not better, it's not worse. I mean, we need to learn how to live in the reality that we are right now. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay, and with that, we'll end.